Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're on page 15 in our prayer book for Or Zarua, the light of the righteous. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ul yishrei lev, simcha. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ul yishrei lev, simcha. Shall we try that again, everybody? If you're on page 15, Or Zarua, let's try it together. Even behind our masks, we can actually still sing. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ul yishrei lev, simcha. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ul yishrei lev, simcha. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance and joy for the pure of heart. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance and joy for the pure of heart. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ul yishrei lev, simcha. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ul yishrei lev, simcha.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Congregation Emanu-El. We are in, as you noticed that the prayer books, they changed. We're in Elul, the month of Elul, which is the month right before Rosh Hashanah. And in many respects, people think, our holidays, they begin on Rosh Hashanah, and then 10 days later, I got to do Yom Kippur. But it's really now. This is when it's begun. Is that Elul is this time of deep introspection, of reflecting on your life and on your relationships where you're supposed to have these conversations. And there's a tradition that during this month, you're supposed to hear the shofar. It's supposed to kind of snap you awake and make sure you realize where we are in the year. And so in the Yallis, we have the Yallis family tradition. Sam Yallis has gone to college as of a few days ago. And so I would like to invite Sasha Yallis up, Sam's cousin, who is taking the helm of our newest shofar blower. So I invite everyone you can keep your eyes open, but you also just might want to close your eyes and hear that shofar and reflect on where you are in this journey we call life and where you are in your relationships and what work you still need to do. Tekiah. Tekiah Gedolah. Thank you, Sasha. And she said at the beginning, she goes, I actually haven't really blown the shofar in a year or so. You got a few weeks to rev up until the big day. So I'd like to invite up all our B'nai Mitzvah families for tomorrow. Marlo Hirsch's family, Ari Nystrom Rice families, Hannah Katz Nelson's family, and Jacob Lettercourt's family to help us light the Shabbat candles. You can see we have
And we have
4
one
tables.
table for each of you.
We got a lot of joy tomorrow. This is socially distanced candle lighting right there in the pods.
So if you take the little lighter candle and use it to light the Shabbat candles, and then we'll sing the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, and we look forward to celebrating tomorrow with all the B'nai Mitzvahs coming up. And so we're going to continue now on page 20 with Shalom Aleichem, which is welcoming those angels in after a very hard week. We just kind of breathe it all out now that we're in Shabbat with the candles. And we literally imagine these angels coming in and lifting us up. And sometimes you need more than one angel after it's been a week like this. You might need 2. We're on page 20.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malachi HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 22 for Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, ki shmiyanu elcham yuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה Adonai, עלייך נגלה, לחתותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לחתותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצחולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לחתותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לחתותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
I'm on page 25. Please join me. And will they ever come, days of forgiveness and grace, when you'll walk in the fields, simple wanderer, and your bare soles will be caressed by the clover, or the wheat stubble will sting your feet, and its sting will be sweet, or the rainfall will catch you, its downpour pounding on your shoulders, your breast, your neck, your head, and you'll walk in the wet field quiet, widening within light on the cloud's rim. And you'll breathe in the scent of the furrow, full and calm, and you'll see the sun in the rain's pool's golden mirror. And all things are simple and alive. You may touch them, and you are allowed to love. You'll walk in the field alone, unscorched by the blaze of the fires, along the road stiffened with blood and terror. And true to your heart, you'll be again humble and softened, as one of the grass, as one of humankind. We're on page 26 for Baruch Hu.
I'd also want to just acknowledge Eric Schoen, Eitan Schillinger-Hyman, who grew up here. I did his bar mitzvah. And Jerome, we're so happy to have you back. Jerome hasn't been with us for a while. He's one of our congregants and composers. And anyway, they help us bring ourselves to the moment of blessing through song.
Please join me in the English on page 29. Holy is twilight, the realm of in-between. And so our sages taught, pray in the moments when light and darkness touch. We are all twilight people, beyond categories and labels. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, widen our vision. Let it illumine our way to the God who transcends all boundaries and definitions. Blessed are you, God of all, who brings on the twilight. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. I'm going to invite everyone to take 3 fingers and to cover their eyes and take a deep breath in as we move into the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת פעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 40, we move to Mi Chamocha, and it's an unbelievably joyous moment in the Torah because after hundreds of years of slavery, we're finally free. We're finally get over the last obstacle we think that's in front of us, which is the sea, as the sea parts and we dance. And in some respects, it kind of reminds me of the end of Fiddler on the Roof, when it seems so dark that everyone is leaving the village. And this family has to move to this place called Chicago. You know, and it's the late 1800s, and they want to stay in Europe. And you're thinking, I know it's coming in Europe. In the future, it's good to go to Chicago. And one of the things about Mi Chamocha is that as joyous as it is, if we think about the future of what comes after that moment, there's a lot of difficulty. There's actually a lot of darkness. But every single day we come back to here to remind ourselves that we can worry about the future and much of what we don't know. And there's times you can just stop and realize that you're in a moment of joy and appreciate that moment because that moment's fleeting. So as we move into the Shabbat, think about where you are and what in this moment we're appreciative of.
And we sing to the melody of this season. Mi chamocha pailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ומרים, זילי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדרנה את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו,
As a congregation, we are praying for the healing of Frank Friedman, Rusty Holden, Lauren Knickerbocker, Jay Fetter, Marilyn Benioff, Wendy Nelson, Francine Gersh, Ruth Dreisbach, Paul Tandler, Laura Brody, Sarah Ginsburg, Rabbi Beth, Susan Montana, David Ben Yom Tov, Leibel Yosef Rock, and Annette Russo. If there's someone else who you are praying for their healing, either of their body or of their spirit or both, if you'll please share their name when my hand passes over you.
Serena Saltis, Shoshana Wilkes, Lori Newman.
Mishaberach Avatenu Vimotenu, Avraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yivarech et Acholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and a complete renewal of spirit. And let us all say amen.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Oh, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. We are blessed to have Margot Wahlberg with us, back from camp from New York. And of course, we want her to sing something with us. Margot grew up here and has been singing with us for many years. Hey, Margot, yeah.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. Ve'ha'almideinu shomreinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right.
Please rise as we turn to page 48 for the Amidah.
דלתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Ve'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Hakol, Ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, U'Mevi Geulah Livnei Bneihem, Le'man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer u'Mosheh u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh kol atah Rav leHoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim berofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Michamocha b'gevurot, umidomelach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please continue silently, either with the words on the page or with the words in your heart. And when you are finished, please be seated.
It's minhag, custom, to sing or recite a little bit of Psalm 27 every single day during the month of Elul. Every day, this was the psalm that was chosen that we would say every day. And if I would sum it up in one phrase, what it means is there's only one thing that I'm asking in my life, and that's to be with you all the days of my life. And that's what it's about. Achat sha'oti me'ed Adonai. If you want to look at the words, it's on page 8 in your book. Achat sha'oti otavakesh. Achat shalti me'ed Adonai. Achat shalti otavakesh. Shivti, shivti, bevet Adonai. Shivti, shivti, kol yamei chayai. Shivti, shivti, bevet Adonai. Shivti, shivti, kol yamei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai, benoam Adonai, uvaker beheichalo, beheichalo. Lachazot benoam Adonai, to gaze upon the beauty of One thing I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life. One thing I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life. Achat shalti me'ed Adonai. Achat shalti otavakesh. Achat shalti me'ed Adonai. Achat shalti otavakesh.
The number of times that I've heard just this week, the world is falling apart. What is happening? How could Afghanistan collapse in such a short time after 20 years? How could we leave the country and women and girls were going to be raped and killed? How could we leave interpreters and allies to hide? And what I kept wondering and what I kept feeling was that our anger at the Taliban, it was deeper for what they were going to do to the Afghans than it was 20 years ago. What changed in us? And as so often occurs, and I mean often, though what I used to call coincidence, I don't feel comfortable saying that, when a week's Parsha aligns so succinctly with current events. Parsha Ki Teitzeh, it addresses how do you respond to darkness in the world. Judaism is designed to respond to the darkness of the realities of the world and to create an infrastructure around our experience that leads us and the world closer to a place of justice. But this Parsha, it shifts in an intense and different direction when it comes to our enemy, Amalek. There's something about Amalek that is different from all the other enemies we have. This week, we are told to blot out the memory of Amalek, and that includes not only the generation that is alive in the Torah, but the generations that follow. Amalek is placed in a category of evil never before seen in the Torah. And this is a radical departure from our response to other nations who have been our enemies. In Numbers 20:14, the Edomites, they prevent our passage through their land. But when we get to Deuteronomy, we are told not to harbor hate to the Edomites, for they are our brothers. Egypt put us in hell and enslaved us for hundreds of years. And then we're told, you should not abhor an Egyptian, for you are a stranger in his land. But Amalek is in a wholly different category. We're told to blot out and to despise Amalek in all future generations. So what's going on here? What changes? Why would our disgust of Amalek be worse than Egypt? Why would we have a greater reaction to what the Taliban is going to do in 2021 than we did to what they had already done in 2001? I want to share a teaching from Rabbi Shai Held, who deconstructs this week's Parsha in trying to understand why we hate Amalek with such passion. Cornelius Houtman, a religious study professor from Campman Theological University, points out that Amalek's attack is essentially an attempt to cut short the exodus out of Egypt and to frustrate the fulfillment of the promises. After living through tyranny, the Jewish people were finally free. And the Amalekites, they go to tear that freedom away. And it makes me think of those girls and those women who've known freedom for 20 years, walking out of their schools and their homes and seeing the trucks roar into their villages with the Taliban carrying automatic rifles. At the end of the Parsha, we read that Amalek goes after the weak among the Israelites, literally chases the back of the Israelite pack. Now, if you think about it, who would be in the back of the pack of the Israelites when they marched? It's the little children, it's the old, it's the weak. That is who Amalek attacks. Rabbi Beno Jacob points out that it was this act that made the Amalekites worse than the Egyptians, because they were not just cruel politically, but that they were moral pariahs. Diana Lipton points out that this behavior is the exact opposite of what Israel is trying to accomplish in the book of Deuteronomy. Israel is trying to build a society of ethics and justice where the measure of its greatness is measured by how the orphan, the poor, and the widow is treated. The Amalekites are the polar opposite. They're feasting on the weakest link of society. 20 years ago, we were furious about the terrorist attack on our soil. And then we learned that this group, the Taliban, also oppressed women and girls. Now, 20 years later, those women and girls, they've tasted freedom. We're trying to build a more just society, and now our hearts break for them. For 20 years, it's been maddening to see an Afghan society trying to create human rights and for them to be snuffed out before they can be actualized. You see, the hatred we see in this Parsha for Amalek, it's not actually about a people. Amalek is an idea. Rabbi Moshe Avigdor Amiel, he sees a battle between the people of the book and the people of the sword. Amalek is pure evil in the world. Amalek is feeding on the weakest link in society, taking others' freedoms away. Amalek was found in Germany in World War II. Amalek is found today in Afghanistan. The reason we have had such a visceral reaction to this is because built within the Judaic value of blotting out Amalek was the value of sensing pure evil and knowing the signs of it and then rejecting it, like our body does to food poison. 20 years ago, we entered Afghanistan with a sword to prevent and to avenge another terrorist attack. But in those 20 years, those people, they've become three-dimensional. Those girls and those women were not afterthoughts, but became our primary thoughts. And in those three dimensions, it's heart-wrenching to imagine Amalek standing over them. My heart, it screams like a nightmare, where you open your mouth in terror and no sound comes out. When I think of those children and those women and those journalists and those interpreters who are hiding in the dark, afraid of Amalek coming to their door. And as Jews, one must ask, what should my response to this moment be? Because there's so many people who are responding or want to respond by shrinking into their corner and enjoying their own self-pleasures. But this is not what Judaism is about. This is antithetical to Judaism. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, he urges that there is no time for neutrality. Being neutral and disengaged is not a Jewish value. Judaism can feel like a disparate system of strange rituals and traditions and mitzvot, but disparate they're not. It is meant to be a unified, holistic system which lays the groundwork to live a life where our actions, and even more so, our reactions, are focused in a way where we are engaged with the world, where our lives are not meant to be disjointed, where some of our actions are self-serving and ignoring the rest of the world. Because we get one shot at this existence. And our goal is to weave our actions together into a masterpiece. And then Shabbat comes once a week to remind us of our mission, to remind us of what a utopia could taste like, and then to use the rest of the week engaging the world to create that masterpiece until we reach Friday night, hopefully exhausted by all the work that we did to bring the world closer to how it ought to be. This week, this month, is a time of deep introspection, a time to examine what we are doing to blot out the Amaleks of this world. May this time be one of meaning, be one of truth, and be one of living up to being the people of the book and not the people of the sword. Shabbat Shalom.
Let's rise for the Aleinu. It's on page 78. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום
please be seated. We reach the moment in our service where we remember those who have passed away. We remember those who passed away in the last 30 days. Bill Landisman, Eli Kane, Frank Belvin, Janice Mary Katani, Etta Ehrlich, Nancy Sampson Cohen, Carolyn Mindel Herman, Willie Visostky, Anna Maria Vera da Cruz Marciela Colejo, Earl Taft, Elias Klein, Robert Bob Gordon, and Rabbi Richard Hirsch, the founder of the Religious Action Center and great connector between American Jewry and Israel. We remember those whose yahrzeit, whose passings falls on this Shabbat. Berta Alexandrovich, Isadora Berkowitz, John Bielenberg, Robert Bolton, Aaron Brayman, Jane Brandeis, Betty Brisker, Lottie Greenfield Burstein, Harriet Gelitzer Chesler, Janice Cohen, Shmuel Favelukas, Sarah Block Gordon, Hannah Greenberg, Mary Greenblatt, Rabbi Hugo Grin, Gedalia Halfon, Esther Halfon, Marcia Israel Crewley, George L. Jacobs, Bertha Joschel, Adele Kay, Joseph H. Kushner, Judy Lamb, George Leader, Rebecca Leidas, David D. Lent, Marilyn Swartz Levinson, Carolyn Lisberger, Hugo Lowenstein, Ruth Lebarsky, Lee Miller, Samuel Mitter, Mark M. Morris, John J. Naylor Jr., Molly Price, Rose Ratner, Thelma Rubin, Moses Rishin, Samuel William Rothman, Harold Schiff, Norman Wallace Shanbrun, Dr. Ben Shenson, Rosa Rosenberg Sipos, Catherine Sloan, Ida Stone, Beatrice Stone, Rita Willen-Alitz, and Zarin Yechalan. If there's someone else who you are remembering who has passed away in the last week, in the last 30 days, in the last year, or this is the yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing, if you'll please share their name when my hand passes over you. And as a community, we rise. And we turn to page 86. Yitgadal v'yitgadash merabah. B'yamad yivrach erotei v'yamlich machutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'b'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'agala u'bizman kariv yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabah mavarach le'alam omei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalel shemei d'kudashah brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran be'ama v'imramen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imramen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, amen.
V'imru, 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 amen. V'imru, 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 amen. This is a beautiful melody written by Jerome. Say shalom bimromav, Aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Let's do it one more time. Can we modulate into D? Say shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Say shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. And for all the people of the planet, ve'imru imru amen. Thank you, Jerome. And we'll stay standing if you're comfortable. We're going to call up our B'nai Mitzvah families.
Yes, we
Our
are.
kids,
The
actually.
kids,
Our-
yes. So we need Marlo, Ari, Hannah, and Jacob. And as they're coming up, just two announcements. Please make sure for high holidays, if you are planning on coming in person, to make sure you go to the website, log in, and register. So everyone has to be registered for each of the services. And other things about throughout the holidays, also go to the website and you'll see all of the services. You probably got the mailing this week in the mail with everything coming up.
And you can pick up your glass of, I'm assuming it's probably juice. And I did want to find the Kiddush. It's on page 12. And let's sing with them, everybody, okay? So hold your glass. Yeah, pick it up. Hold it up high, everybody, so everybody can see it. Yep. And you can take that. Yeah, you can uncover it. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei v'ri hakafim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon inchilanu. Zikaron lemasei vereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, ki banu bacharta, neftanu kidashta, mikol B'shabbat kodshcha, be'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu. Now hold your glass up really high. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat l'chaim. And you can take a, well, you can't really take a sip, can you? Okay, we're not sipping it, but it's been blessed. And then we also have some challah, I see,
Do we?
right? Some have challah,
Oh,
and
Jacob's
some
got the
don't.
challah.
One has challah. Jacob, you're the lucky guy. So you can uncover the challah and hold it up. You're going to be the symbolic challah holder for everybody. And hold it up so everybody can see it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. And please bring your prayer books to the back, and everyone have a very sweet and meaningful and restful Shabbat. Shabbat shalom.